My name is Dr. Zanetor Agyeman-Rawlings, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Klote-Kole constituency. I also happen to be the first daughter of His Excellency Flight Lieutenant JJ Rawlings and Her Excellency Zanetor Agyeman-Rawlings. I'm the first of 4 children. My siblings are Ya Santua, Amina, and Kimathi. And by God's grace, I also happen to have given my parents 3 grandchildren as their reward for not killing me, for being such a troublesome child. As children, we didn't grow up in the castle, so we had to see my dad sometimes on the weekends and maybe sometimes in the middle of the week. And this was because they wanted us to remain grounded and not feel detached from having a normal life. It also meant that we didn't see our dad every day, but we got used to it, and it just seemed normal anyway. I think my memories of him are a mixture of seeing him on TV, seeing him at various national events, and then of course we had the moments where we had family time, which was when we were a little bit older. And my dad has quite a wicked sense of humor. He just loved to pull pranks on people. And I suppose one of the other memories I had was when he first taught me how to fly. And interestingly enough, he's very, very precise and he's very exacting. So he would ask me to land in a specific spot. And if I couldn't, he'd make me fly around again and land again. And I remember on the day that he decided it was time for me to fly solo, as we came into land, as we were on finals, he said I should pretend like he had passed out in the plane and land the plane without him. And I was very offended by that at the time, I remember, because I thought it was bad luck to say things like that. But he ignored me. He just ignored me until I landed the plane. And as soon as we landed, he asked me to stop while we're still on the runway, and then he got out of the plane and told me to go. And I hesitated, and he said, "You're ready, so go." So I took off, and of course I was praying throughout as I was doing the circuit. And as I think I must have been probably on, I'm not sure which leg I was on anyway, and unfortunately, just as I'd taken off, my mother arrived on the scene and was asking, "Oh, Nazanewehi," and my dad just pointed up to the sky without saying a word. Oh, my poor mother, she's been through so much. And but thank God, I landed safely and everything, and that was quite an interesting experience. My dad taught me a lot of things. Most of the things I learned taught me how to ride horses, because that was something he's always been very good at. I think he's a bit of an animal whisperer. In the village, he has managed to get his dogs to be friendly with the cats and the birds, the peacocks and the geese, all sorts of creatures, including rabbits, and they seem to get along just fine. And it's the most phenomenal thing to see, because it's not very normal for you to see a dog not attacking a bird in the vicinity, and the animals just get along really well. And I think it speaks to his nature, which is, people only see a certain aspect of him, and when you actually see the way he's able to create a certain atmosphere of harmony around him, it's something that it's quite special, and it's special. I think one of the things that I have learned from him, that I'm passing on in terms of how I raise my kids, is his love for precision. And he just does not like the idea of seeing something going wrong and leaving it as it. He didn't sugarcoat his words, but he's always had a good sense of humor. And I certainly hope that I'm managing to impart some of the things that I learned to my children. And one of the things I remember whenever we would drive out of Accra with my dad, especially on the way back if it was late, was whenever he saw there were elderly ladies or, women who were on their own looking for transport to Accra, he always made sure we picked them up, whether in our vehicle or in addition with the escort vehicle as well. And it was an important thing to see, because he was never too big to help anybody, and he never looked at anybody as being below him or too small to be given his attention or to help. And these are some of the values that we picked up from him, teaching us to be grounded, to be compassionate, and to regard everybody as our equal and not to look down on other people. I remember that my dad also taught Zanetor and myself how to ride a bicycle. There was one morning when he was going back to the castle, and as he stepped out of the house, we went to see him off. He looked at the bicycle with the trainer wheels on either side, and he asked his guards to undo the wheels, and he was determined to teach us how to ride that morning. And so we got onto the bike, and he pushed the bike all the way to the front gate. And I remember, I think, did I almost fall or did I fall? And then on the second go, he pushed it and he said, just focus. I'm not going to let go. Just focus and just keep riding. And he did let go, but I kept my focus and I didn't fall off. And that was it. That was how he taught us how to ride a bicycle. My dad is just a hands-on, practical type of person, and we've had memorable moments in spite of the fact that most of that time was actually given to Ghana and not as much spent with us. But what we had was worth it. Daddy, I would like to, on behalf of Zanetor, Amina, Kimathi, and myself, and may God richly bless you and keep you.
How are you, baby?